The recent legal clash between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively has stirred considerable attention, culminating in a courtroom dismissal that has sparked a heated back and forth between their representatives. At the heart of the matter is a lawsuit filed by Baldoni, known widely for his directing work on It Ends With Us, against Lively, a prominent actress and producer. The suit was dismissed by a judge, which Blake Lively subtly acknowledged on social media, suggesting a victorious conclusion to the dispute. However, Justin Baldoni's lawyer has come out strongly, disputing Lively's interpretation of the dismissal as a clear win and labeling her claims as false. The entire legal episode began when Baldoni initiated litigation, though the specific allegations and claims have not been exhaustively detailed in public reports. What is clear, however, is that the dismissal was not a typical straightforward ruling in favor of one party. Instead, it was more complex, with nuances that Baldoni's legal team insists have been overlooked or deliberately misconstrued by Lively and her camp. This disagreement over the interpretation of the judge's decision has added fuel to an already charged public dispute, drawing in fans, legal experts, and the media alike. From Lively's perspective, the dismissal marked the end of a contentious chapter and a validation of her position. Her social media message was measured but confident, hinting at a sense of relief and triumph without explicitly gloating. Such a response is typical in high-profile legal battles, where the desire to appear gracious yet assert dominance often walks a fine line. For many observers, her acknowledgement seemed to close the book on the lawsuit, setting the stage for her to move forward with her professional and personal endeavors unencumbered. Yet, Baldoni's lawyer took a markedly different stance. In a statement that has now been widely circulated, the lawyer emphasized that the case is far from over in substance, even if the lawsuit was technically dismissed. The use of the word false to describe Lively's claims underscores the intensity of the dispute and suggests that Baldoni's camp believes there are significant unresolved issues that remain to be addressed. This public legal sparring indicates that what appeared to be a judicial finality may instead be a pause or a procedural setback for Baldoni, rather than a definitive defeat. The legal mechanics behind the dismissal add another layer of complexity. It is not uncommon for cases to be dismissed on procedural grounds or due to technicalities rather than on the merits of the underlying claims. Such dismissals do not equate to a judgment that the dismissed party's arguments were without merit. Instead, they often provide an opportunity to revisit, refile, or renegotiate terms outside of the courtroom. Baldoni's lawyer's insistence on the dismissal being false in terms of final victory likely alludes to such procedural nuances, indicating a belief that the legal battle might continue in some form. This clash also highlights the broader context of how public figures handle legal disputes in the age of social media and instant communication. Both Baldoni and Lively are not only celebrities but also influencers with significant followings who closely monitor their every move. Legal conflicts involving public figures tend to spill into the public domain, making the management of narrative and perception nearly as crucial as the legal proceedings themselves. In this case, Lively's subtle social media message and Baldoni's lawyer's blunt public refutation reflect two different strategies for controlling the story and shaping public opinion. Furthermore, the involvement of high-profile personalities often brings additional scrutiny to the underlying issues, whether related to contractual disputes, intellectual property, or other business-related conflicts within the entertainment industry. Though details about the nature of Baldoni's lawsuit remain limited, the very fact that such prominent figures are engaged in this legal wrangling speaks to the high stakes and potential ramifications for their careers and reputations. Observers also point out that the public battle between Baldoni and Lively may influence how similar cases are handled in Hollywood and beyond. The entertainment industry is no stranger to disputes over creative control, financial arrangements, and personal rights, but the way these disputes play out in public forums can affect negotiations and strategies in future conflicts. The ongoing tension and the contrasting public statements from both sides serve as a reminder that legal victories are not always clear-cut and that the interpretation of a judge's decision can vary widely depending on one's perspective. Moreover, the underlying tension revealed by Baldoni's lawyer's comments might signal that there are unresolved business or personal grievances between the parties that could surface again. The lawyer's language suggests a refusal to accept the status quo and a readiness to continue advocating for Baldoni's interests vigorously. For those following the story, this means that despite the dismissal, the dispute is very much alive and may see further developments, whether through additional legal motions, settlement negotiations, or other public disclosures. The public reaction to this saga has been mixed, with some expressing support for Baldoni's determination to fight on and others commending Lively for what they see as a strong defense against unfounded claims. The polarized opinions reflect the difficulty in fully understanding legal disputes based solely on public information and social media statements. Fans and followers must often rely on incomplete details, making it challenging to discern the full truth behind such high-profile conflicts. In addition, the situation sheds light on the pressures and challenges faced by celebrities who engage in legal battles. Beyond the courtroom drama, there is the constant pressure to maintain public image, manage professional relationships, and navigate the intense scrutiny of media and fans. Both Baldoni and Lively have demonstrated, through their respective responses, the complexity of balancing these demands while dealing with legal uncertainties. Ultimately, this episode between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively serves as a fascinating case study in modern celebrity legal disputes, how lawsuits can be dismissed without being resolved in a traditional sense, how public narratives are carefully crafted and contested, and how legal battles can persist beneath the surface even when they appear to have ended. While Blake Lively's social media nod to the dismissal might suggest closure to some, the strong rebuttal from Baldoni's lawyer signals that the story is far from finished. The dispute highlights the often murky intersection of law, media, and celebrity, reminding everyone that what seems like a simple court ruling can carry layers of unresolved complexity and ongoing tension. As this situation continues to unfold, those involved and the public alike will be watching closely to see whether the legal and personal dynamics lead to a definitive resolution or whether this is merely a chapter in a longer saga. In the meantime, the legal community and entertainment industry insiders are likely to analyze and learn from this dispute, particularly regarding how such cases are framed publicly and the strategic moves both sides employ.